Have you ever noticed that no matter what kind of class you take, could it be a dance class, yoga, Pilates, spin, maybe even a lecture or a workshop, that people tend to gravitate to the exact same part of the room every single time? Nobody's assigning seats, nobody tells you where to stand, and yet somehow we all seem to have our places, almost without even thinking about it. Now, for dance class, it might be the spot where you warm up, your place at the bar, the row you instinctively choose when it's time to learn the combination. Maybe it's the front row left corner. Maybe it's in the back by the door. Maybe it's wherever you can get the best view of the teacher. So, here is my question. What if always standing in the same place is actually making you a less adaptable learner? That is what we're talking about today on my podcast, Hey Dancer. My name is Miller Duray, and yes, this is a dance podcast, and today we are going to absolutely be talking about dance class, but I think this conversation applies to really discussing, any place where people are learning movement. Because whether you're in ballet, hip-hop, a yoga studio, a cycling class, there is something fascinating that human beings tend to do. We quietly claim territory. Not officially, not consciously, but over time, we gravitate towards certain places in the room. And today, I want to make the case that deliberately breaking that habit every once in a while might be one of the simplest ways to challenge your brain, become a more adaptable dancer, and maybe even change the way you learn. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed and give a like. Hit that notification bell so you always know when a new episode drops, and it's about once a week at least. And if you're watching on Spotify or listening on Apple, a follow, a rating, a review goes a long way. It means a lot. I'm a one-man team, so any love right there, any engagement really, really helps. And if you want to support the podcast even more directly, you'll find a Buy Me a Coffee link below. Pinned on YouTube also. All right, so now let's start with a simple observation. Nobody is assigning seats in dance class for the most part. Maybe unless you're you're 4 years old. I don't know. Bottom line is there isn't a seating chart. There's no sign on the floor with your name on it. And yet after a while, we just somehow end up with our preferences. Maybe you like the front because you can see the teacher more clearly. I know that's where I like to be. Maybe you like the back because, you feel like there's less pressure. Maybe you always stand on the same side, right or left, because that's just kind of where you always stood. Or maybe you don't even realize you're doing it. But if you stop and think about your last few classes, I have a sneaking suspicion there is a pattern. And here's what's interesting. The reasons we give ourselves usually sound very practical. I can see the teacher better from here. I can see myself in the mirror best from this spot. I'm right-brained, so I learn better on this side. My friend usually stands over here. All of these stories we tell ourselves are perfectly reasonable, but I wonder if it's the whole story, because I also think there's something emotional happening, something almost superstitious, may I say. We start believing this is where I dance well. I need to be right here to learn the best way that I learn. Right here is where I had that amazing class that one time, and I got to stand here all the time because if I don't, I could just forget everything. After enough classes, that feeling becomes stronger and stronger, not because anybody told us it was the best place to learn, but because it's familiar, and familiarity has a funny way of feeling like effectiveness. That's the question I want to explore today. Is your favorite spot actually helping you learn? Or is it simply the place where your brain has become the most comfortable? I started asking this question myself a few months ago. There's one class I've been taking pretty consistently, and without really thinking about it, I developed a habit. As we do, every week I'd end up in the same part of the room, front left, pretty much next to the teacher. I like to see the teacher very clearly. I like to see myself in the mirror very clearly. Nobody assigned me that spot, obviously. It just became where I stood. And one day, I caught myself thinking, why am I always gravitating to this spot? Do I need to be in this spot? Why does it feel safer right here? Or was I simply choosing what felt familiar? So I decided to run a little experiment. One day I showed up and I deliberately moved. Different side of the room, a little more in the middle, on the right side. And almost immediately, I started noticing things I hadn't noticed before. Now, before I tell you what I noticed, I want to be careful here because I don't want anyone listening to this to walk into their next class thinking I'm saying you've been doing it wrong. I'm not. Comfort isn't automatically the enemy. In fact, sometimes it's exactly what you need. If you're coming back from an injury, standing somewhere familiar may help you relax. If you're brand new to a class, your little corner can become a kind of home base, a safe space while you're figuring everything else out. And honestly, even after years of dancing, a lot of us still get nervous walking into unfamiliar rooms. So of course, being somewhere that just kind of feels like you know that one part of the room on the floor, it can lower the temperature a little bit, if that makes sense. It gives us one less thing to think about. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Trust me, so I'm not saying your spot is bad or wrong. And I'm not saying you should force yourself to be somewhere different every single class, right? I'm just wondering what happens when we never leave the spot, that general area of the room that we tend to gravitate to, you know? What happens when the place that once made us feel comfortable quietly becomes the only place we feel comfortable? Because I think there's a difference between having a preference and becoming dependent on that preference. And that's where this starts getting really interesting. So, going back to my class experiment, right? What exactly did I notice? To be honest, it almost felt like, this is going to sound crazy, but it almost felt like I was taking a completely different class, which again, I know sounds silly because I had literally moved 5 feet, that way to the right. Same teacher, same studio, same warm-up pretty much. The only thing I changed was where I was standing. And I noticed as soon as the warm-up began, almost immediately the class felt different. The teacher almost looked like a different teacher. Not because he was a different teacher, obviously, or teaching differently, but because I was seeing his movement from a completely different angle. Suddenly, I was noticing little details I hadn't really paid attention to before. The way one movement connected to the next looked different. It was like really kind of blowing my mind. The timing between certain steps felt different too, even though nothing had really changed. And somehow I wasn't just aware of the teacher anymore. I was aware of the whole room, the dancers in front of me, the spacing, the timing around me. Everything suddenly became part of the learning experience. I found myself paying closer attention, and it occurred to me I didn't realize how much my learning had become tied to my point of view until I changed my point of view. And by point of view, again, I just mean where I was standing during the warm-up. And that sent me down a bit of a rabbit hole, hence this podcast. Now, to be fair, this wasn't a brand new idea for me. I think most dancers have heard from time to time that it's a good thing to change your spot in the room, challenge yourself, don't get too comfortable. I'd even said the same thing myself. Every once in a while on my social media, I'd encourage dancers to stand somewhere different in the room. But the truth is, I couldn't really explain why it mattered. I just had a gut feeling that it did. And as it turns out, the research actually backs up my intuition. Now, you know me. I absolutely love going down these research rabbit holes. I don't pretend to be an expert in neuroscience or motor learning. I'm just a very curious dancer who enjoys reading what the experts have to say. One of the papers I came across was written by dance researchers Donna Krasnow and Virginia Wilmerding. They explain that movement isn't just about muscles and bones. It's about how the nervous system uses information from the environment to organize movement. Things like in dance class that we see, what we hear, where our body is in space, and even the people around us. And that led me to another concept from motor learning research. Researchers call it variable practice. And the idea is just pretty straightforward. You don't always have to change what you're practicing. Sometimes it's enough to change the conditions under which you're practicing. And that brings me to another researcher I came across, a psychologist named Robert Bjork. He spent decades studying something he calls desirable difficulties. It's kind of a funny phrase, but the idea is actually pretty intuitive. Sometimes learning improves when practice becomes just a little bit more challenging, not frustrating, not overwhelming, just enough that your brain can't coast. It has to stay engaged. And I immediately thought back to my little tiny experiment, moving across the room didn't make the warm up harder. It made me work a little bit harder. I had to pay closer attention. I had to notice details I hadn't noticed before. I couldn't rely on the same visual shortcuts I'd been relying on for weeks. And according to Bjork's research, sometimes the moments that feel just a little less comfortable are the moments that teach us the most. And then I realized it wasn't just the warm up. I stayed in this new spot not just for the warm up, but when it was time to learn the combination too. That's kind of a big deal for me. Now, normally, I like being, way toward the front. I always have. I like being close to the teacher. I like having a really clear view of myself in the mirror. So this wasn't me discovering that the middle of the room is somehow the better place to learn or anything. It's not. Every spot in the room has its own advantages and disadvantages. The point isn't to find the best spot, like I said before. That's not what I'm talking about today. It's to experience the class from more than one spot of the room from time to time. This time, instead of being almost beside the teacher, where I usually am when I learn the combo, I was, a little farther back. I could still see myself in the mirror. I just wasn't depending on it nearly as much. Instead, I found myself watching the teacher's actual body more than his reflection. Now, I got to be honest. I've always been sort of aware, when I'm standing in the front row to look at both, the teacher in real life and then also in the mirror to take in and learn the choreo from, all perspectives. I think there are, pros and cons to watching only the teacher in like the 3D in real life and then only watching the teacher in the mirror and then doing like a little bit of both, So normally I do a little bit of both, but because now I was standing well behind the teacher where I'm not usually, something shifted for me. I found myself relying much more on the teacher standing right in front of me than on the reflection in the mirror. I still glanced at the mirror. I still, checked my own lines and stuff, but I wasn't depending on it nearly as much. I felt a little more immersed also in what was happening in the room. It didn't make me think that I had been, standing in the wrong place all the time in all my classes. It just simply made me realize that there was value in occasionally standing somewhere different. So where does all of this leave us? Well, if you have followed me for a little bit of time, you might know that I've spent the last several years reading a tremendous amount about neuroplasticity. Originally, it wasn't because of dance. It was because of chronic pain, which ironically actually is about dance because I've been trying to learn so much to get back on the dance floor. But anyway, that whole journey sent me down another there's so many rabbit holes. And that rabbit hole of neuroplasticity and chronic pain completely changed the way I think about the brain. Our brains respond to experience. The information we take in, the problems we were asked to solve, the environments we move through. And one of the simplest ways to keep our brains engaged is to occasionally give them something different to work with. Now, I'm thinking about this all the time, and I'll just give you some examples. Every morning, I go on a hike that I love, and I'm so blessed to have a hike where I live in my area, right? And the hike has a lot of trails, a lot of big, long trails. And every big, long trail has these little tiny offshoots, right, in each individual big, long trail. And sometimes I'll get to a point where I could just, keep going straight like I usually do. Or look at that. There's a left turn I hadn't quite seen before. Now, that little detour might only last a couple of 100 feet before it reconnects with the exact same trail. Maybe it adds a minute or two. That's it. But for those couple of 100 feet, everything changes. The terrain looks different. The trees are different. I'm noticing things I don't normally notice. And suddenly, my everyday hike doesn't feel quite so everyday anymore. And the thing is, I do that on purpose. It's one of the ways I try to apply what I've learned about neuroplasticity in my own life. Change the environment, even if it's just a couple of 100 feet on a hike, because it's giving my brain new input. Oh, look, there's a view I hadn't seen before. Look at those houses on the cliff. I hadn't seen those. I hadn't seen the sunrise between those two mountains before. Just a quick little detour, and it's crazy how so much changes. Those little changes force me to become present again. My brain isn't just replaying yesterday's hike, it's actively taking in a new environment. Because the goal isn't just to get from point A to point B, the goal is to keep giving my brain opportunities to adapt, learn, and stay flexible. And somewhere along the way, I realized dance class isn't really any different. Maybe changing your spot isn't really about where you're standing at all. Maybe it's about refusing to let your brain run on autopilot, giving yourself a slightly different problem to solve, a different perspective, a different relationship to the room, the exact same class experienced in a different way. And you know what? As I was putting this episode together, I found myself thinking about something dance teachers used to do all the time, at least when I was growing up. I don't see it so much anymore. Right in the middle of learning the combo, they'll just suddenly say, front row, go to the back row, come to the front. Looking back, that's actually very smart teaching. There's something really valuable about that, not because the back of the room is better than the front or vice versa, but because every new place in the room gives you something a little different to learn from, a different angle, a different sightline, a different relationship to the teacher, a different relationship to the mirror, a different relationship to the dancers around you. The movement stays the same, you change. And based on everything we've talked about today, it's not just psychological. There's a neurological component to it too. So here's my challenge for you. And if you're a dance teacher, maybe throw this challenge out to your students, maybe kind of, sort of, a recommendation. The next time you walk into class, before you automatically head towards your usual spot, pause for just a moment, just a second, and ask yourself, why are you choosing this spot? And then maybe don't. Stand on the other side of the room. Choose a different place at the bar. Learn the combination from a different side, a different row. Stand next to people you've never stood next to before. Not because, as I've said a few times already, your favorite spot is wrong. It's not. And not because you should do this every single class. You shouldn't. But because every once in a while, there's a real value in experiencing something familiar from a completely different perspective. And when class is over, don't ask yourself whether you danced better. Ask yourself, what did I notice today that I never would have noticed if I'd stayed in my usual spot? Because I have a feeling, dancer, that is where the real learning begins. All right, that's all I got. Thanks so much for being here. If you decide to try this little experiment in your next class, I'd genuinely love to hear what you notice. Leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify. I would just love to hear it. It'll make me so excited. Or you can send me a DM also on Instagram at Back2Great. If you feel like you were entertained today, if you feel like you learned something, if you feel like this is something that your dance fam could benefit from, come on, share the love, share the dance gospel, share the education. And again, don't forget to subscribe and follow and like. Did I already say that? And there's a Buy Me a Coffee link below if you want to support even further. It goes a long way. It means a lot. Thank you so much. And don't forget to keep dancing, and I'll see you next time.